It's time to love the lanes again. From some of southeastern Wisconsin's finest bowling centers, this is the Brew City Bowling Show.
Good morning, bowling fans. We're back here for another edition of the Brew City Bowling Show here at Classic Lanes in Greenfield. I want to thank Gina Dereshevsky and her great staff for hosting us. And this morning, a fun format. Not is it a Baker mixed trios, which means we have to have at least one lady on each team. One of the players on each of these teams has to be over 50 as well. So you talk about having some classics here at Classic Lanes Greenfield. We sure have it for you today. House pattern out there. It's probably going to be some pretty high-scoring matches. We're going to be back with that opening match here from Classic Lanes Greenfield after this short break. Here's the fall league openings at Classic Lanes in Greenfield. Great senior leagues on Wednesdays at 9:15 a.m. and Thursdays at 1 p.m. A fun 5-person mixed on Thursdays at 6:30. Get your weekend started with a 4-person mixed on Fridays at 6:45. Get your weekends rolling in a 4-person mixed league every other week on Saturdays or Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Call 414-282-6400 to sign up or go to ClassicLanesGreenfield.com for all your specials and league info.
Hey, Steve. Your favorite slots are open.
They remember my name and my game?
Your usual, Steve?
They're like mind readers.
Blackjack!
Is this heaven?
No, it's American Place Casino.
Wait, are you in my head?
Come on, Steve. That'd be weird.
We're not mind readers, but we create an experience that's just for you. American Place Casino.
This place rules!
I know, right?
With both of our matches here on the Brew City Bowling Show today being 2-game total pin matches, we're going to give you some highlights of Game 1 of the semifinal. There you see Tracy Jacobs for TJ Hookers getting a strike. There are a lot of strikes early on in this match. Justin Duzon following with a strike of his own. Hey, Matt Duty, how about piling on for your team? There you go. Next for CLG BHQ, you see our host proprietor today, Gina Dereshevsky, getting that 6-pin to do a second effort on the 10. Will Welch from Bowlers Headquarters gets the 6 to slap out the 10. And David Brown is making his first television appearance here in southeast Wisconsin. Adds on to his team's strikes. This game was close all the way into the 10th frame for Game 1. Matt Duty steps up in the 10th frame, gets the 6 to take the 10 down late. Second shot in the 10th, nothing but flush as all 10 pins disappear. And after a 4-pin on his fill ball, TJ's Hookers with an opening game of 236. David Brown, though, runs into trouble, misses a little left, leaves the 6-10, and then slides behind the 10-pin on the spare attempt, leaving CLG BHQ with a 203 game, and 33 pins the advantage for TJ's Hookers, getting into the second game of this 2-game total pin match. So with TJ's Hookers having that 33 pin advantage after Game 1, David Brown and CLG BHQ looking to make the big comeback here in Game 2 as the teams have switched lanes. CLG BHQ will throw every shot here on lane 3. TJ's Hookers will bowl on lane 4 this game. And how about that start from David Brown? Shreds the rack. Makes it happen. Brown just moved to the area. He's going to be doing his bowling here on Monday nights at Classic Lanes Greenfield. High quality league they have here on Monday nights. Lots of scratch bowlers in that league. As you see the can opener, as it's like to be called, there for Brown, trying to get CLG BHQ back in this match. Matt Duty's been consistent all day long. Does his bowling here at Classic Lanes in Greenfield. I want to thank his girlfriend Ann for all the support with the bowling he does when he's not at work. As he's checking the sole of the shoe there. Not sure if it was so much the sliding soles, maybe a little bit of quick on the timing. Wrap 10. I'm sure he'll make the subtle move next time up on that lane. As Duty switches to the polyester ball and gets the spare. You saw Duty in our Season 2 show. Bowled with Steve Vetter as they came up a little short to Chad Claus, Gus Yanaris in our championship match for our Baker doubles to wrap up the Brew City Bowling Show in Season 2. And here is Gina Dereshevsky, multiple Hall of Famer. Of course, our host proprietor here for this event at Classic Lanes in Greenfield. Wanted to thank her big Greek family for all the support. No, the 8 kind of teased her there, but the 8 goes down for Gina, and the opening double now cuts the lead for TJ's Hookers down to just 23 pins with the team captain, Tracy Jacobs, getting ready to step up. Look at that ball beautifully come in. takes them all down. Once again, we're bowling on the Classic Lanes Greenfield house pattern for this event. So scores may be a little bit higher than what we've seen in some of our past shows, but getting into the fall season, we're taking it a little easy on some of the players early on as Jacobs gets that ball to face up nicely. Takes all 10 down. Tracy wanted to thank her grandmother who got her into the sport of bowling and her mom and dad who have supported her through all the years of bowling as well. As you see, no remnants left on the pin deck for Jacobs. Will Welch, part of the winning USBC Open Championships Team All-Event title in 2025 in Baton Rouge. I know the whole Bowlers headquarters crew proud to finally bring down that title after some close calls over the years, but Welch can't get that 10 to go. And he's looking at a spare. Still keeping his team close in the match. He's glad today he gets to share the lanes with his best friend, David Brown, today. And mom and dad, his mom and dad no longer with us, but all the support they gave him over the years of bowling as well. He's got a bunch of house projects he's getting done when he's not out on the lane. So good luck on that, Will. Don't lose a finger. You kind of need them all for bowling. As he covers that 10-pin successfully. Justin Duzon took a bunch of years off the sport of bowling, raised a family. His daughter, pretty quality high school player over the last 2 years. Justin does some coaching at the high school level as well. And that one gets all 10 to leave the pin deck. And the lead back out to 34 pins. TJ's Hookers after that double. Watch that replay. That ball just coming in nice off the outside portion of the lane. Pretty conducive here at Classic Lanes Greenfield to be able to have that ball hook in from the outside 4th or 5th board. Get yourself some entry angle, help get those 10 pins for the right-handers dug out. And wow, speaking of getting dug out, ball dug the 5 right out, never let it get near the 8. So, dear David Brown, welcome to Milwaukee. So, yeah, when he's not in the lanes on a weekend, David likes to get some time in with family at home, friends at home, just relax and make up for the work week. Is a great cover there by David. Keeps his team clean, but now still down by 34 pins. Matt Duty's been doing a lot of work on his Harley over the last couple of years, custom parts and such on his Harley. And likes to play a little sand volleyball as well when the weather's a little bit warmer. I think sand volleyball pretty much done here in southeastern Wisconsin for 2025. You might get another warm day or two coming out, but that sand can get your toes kind of cold in a hurry. As the wrap 10 there for Duty is he's getting a little grief from not just the opposing team, but his own teammates as well. Loves playing blackjack when he gets a chance to go to a casino. And once again, even though there's no American Place Casino striped pins in our racks for our finalists today, we want to thank American Place Casino for all their support. They're going to be back on board when we come back the next season of the Brew City Bowling Show, the first weekend in November, and they're actually going to be a big part of our show next week with the final round of our American Place Casino Summer Sweeper Series coming to you from Country Lanes in Greenfield. We've been live streaming that on Facebook all summer long, and we're bringing the finals to TV here on My 24 Milwaukee. See who's going to take down that $1,000 first place prize as Sweeper Series champion. And great toss again by Gina Dereshevsky. Gina loves sitting at a craps table. Well, actually, you're standing at a craps table. Unless you're playing some of the new bubble craps machines, then you can sit in a chair. Let's see what Tracy Jacobs can do here in her beverage frame for her team. And that one creeps high, and the ultimate bad break. And it's a 7 and 10 stand for Tracy. She loves a good Buffalo slot machine when she makes her visits down to American Place Casino. And she would love to be in the front row for a Garth Brooks concert. Well, you can go to Las Vegas. Garth has had a couple of residencies out there, but those tickets are far from cheap. So she's going to try to get one here, and does. That's going to get us into our commercial break, but CLG BHQ slicing into the deficit that they have. We'll be back from Classic Lanes Greenfield.
I'm excited to check this place out.
It's gotta be better than our usual.
Feel invisible at other casinos?
Welcome. Great to see you.
Hey, we see you. Because at American Place, we go above and beyond to deliver not just great gaming and dining, but personal service and attention where nothing is overlooked. Especially you. American Place Casino.
Long time no see. You have no idea.
Keep us on time on this week's edition of the Brew City Bowling Show. We had our bowlers roll through the break. 6th frame for CLG BHQ. Will Welch comes a little high, almost got a huge break on the 10. Big traffic jam next to it. Keeps the score sheet clean for his team, makes the spare. Justin Duzon trying to help his team increase their lead even though they're on an open, and he creeps high. Big break to leave the 6-10, but if you're a coach, especially for high school bowling, you always tell them how important spare making is. Justin gets it done there. And in our 7th frame for CLG BHQ, David Brown looking for a little redemption off that 8-pin he left in the 4th. He receives it, but Matt Duty helping to keep that lead where it's at for 21 pins for TJ's Hookers. Gets his strike, and we're back to our live action. Even though we're on tape here from Classic Lanes Greenfield for this Classic Greenfield over 50, under 50 Baker mixed trios. It was a fun day today. 12 Baker games of trios in our qualifying rounds before our top 4 teams advanced to our semifinal round. And the team you saw win last week on the Brew City Bowling Show with Dan Swenson and Lauren Samuel, they were 2/3 of the 4th place team just missing out on the show today. I want to thank Dan and Lauren for making the big drive in with a partner today for this trios event. You would think Gina's one of the bowlers that shot 900 here with all the strikes she's thrown today. Unfortunately for Gina, not the case. She does have a few 800 series here, of course. This is the only bowling center in the world with 2 certified 900 series thrown in it, one by Tony Roventini, the other by Mark Wookeman. And 3 and 4 is one of the pairs that was a 900 series host, as Tony Roventini shot his 300 on this pair back before the turn of the millennium, and shortly after is when Mark Wookeman shot his in 2006, right next door on lanes 5 and 6. Tracy Jacobs gets the 4-pin to go, keeps her team in the lead, and now the ladies are just spectators for the remainder of this semifinal game. Team McWolschel waiting in the wings. Scott McDougall, Noel Walter, and Robert Peschel are top seeds today. They had a big 279 game during the match play portion of this event that vaulted them into the #1 spot. Let's see what Welch can do here. Likes a little Pygao action when he's at the casino. It's a great way to relax at the table, sort some cards, see if you win a few dollars here and there. And he cannot get pin the carry. Let's take a second look at that as that ball breaks in a little too hard off the outside part of the lane, leaves the 4-pin. And he knows that could be the end of the run for CLG BHQ. Here on the Brew City Bowling Show, perfect cover. Will's kind of funny. We asked him if he could have a superhero power, what would it be? He simply said height. I guess no explanation needed on that one for Will, as you see him perfectly cover that 4-pin. Let's see if Justin Duzon can seal the deal here. The strike here keeps the team up by over 20 pins and makes Matt Duty's job a little bit easier in the 10th frame to get them to advance to the final. And wow, I wasn't sure that one was going to finish hard enough, but the head pin came off the sideboard, and the 4, 5, and 7 all fall for Justin Duzon. And it'd be a little bit of a different match now if David Brown could have had that solid 8-pin fall back in the 4th frame. They'd be down by less than a mark. Instead, Brown needs a strikeout here to get his team to 227. And that would force Matt Duty to get a mark in the 10th frame. Hey, how about that? It's never over till it's over. Great toss there by Brown. Couldn't be any more perfect in the pocket than he was on that shot. He'd love to be in a front row seat to go see Metallica on I'm sure he would probably need to bring a little ear protection as well if you're sitting in the front row at a Metallica concert. Let's see what he can do here. Keep the dream alive for his team. Second shot, 10th frame. And that looks to be pretty well on target. And wow, almost an exact replica. Talk about coming in clutch. As you see his teammates, Will and Gina, cheer him on. That gets the advantage. TJ's hookers down to just single digits, and yes, it will require a mark for Matt Duty to lock this up and have TJ's hookers advance into the championship match. David had a 300 game at the age of 13 when he was living in Florida, as the 7 goes late. That's incredible. And nowadays, 13, it's not unusual to see players have their first 300 game at 13. Back 20 years ago, it was still kind of a rarity, but with the power these young players can generate, we see more and more 2-handers, especially at the youth level. 300s are getting more and more frequent for those younger players. A mark here for Duty, locks it up for TJ's hookers, posts that shot, and something just tickled the 7 down, and there is your shot to advance for TJ's hookers. Assuming, of course, that Matt Duty keeps this next shot in the middle of the lane. We've seen some strange things happen. What concert would you want to be in the front row for? Matt says, not Coldplay. Well, Matt, that was actually up in the luxury boxes, so I'm sure we would never see you there. But it would be a Carlos Santana concert for Matt as he locks it up now. So we're going to have TJ's hookers against McWolschel in our championship match. $750 our top prize for the players today. And we had some other players earlier in the event when American Place Casino Free Play, American Place Casino Dining. Once again, I want to thank our big sponsor, American Place Casino, for everything they've done for us here on the Brew City Bowling Show. A short break, and our final match will be coming up here from Classic Lanes, Greenfield. Get your 5-player teams together for the inaugural Root River Classic, featuring a $20,000 guaranteed first place team prize. Just a $250 entry fee for your team with optional singles and scratch team events. The Root River Classic is going to run from November 14th until December 28th on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Register using the QR code you can see on your screen, or go to rootriverwi.com for tournament details. And our teams for our final match here at the Classic Lanes Greenfield. Over 50, under 50, Baker Mixed Trios. TJ's Hookers taking on McWolschel. Our top seeds were waiting in the wings as TJ's Hookers took down CLG BHQ in that semifinal. And now it'll be Matt Duty leading things off once again with TJ's Hookers. Once again, this is a Baker Trios format, so this leadoff bowler is the only bowler that'll bowl 4 frames. Matt will bowl the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. Tracy Jacobs will bowl the 2nd, 5th, and 8th, and Justin Duzon will bowl the 3, 6, 9 for his frames. And how about that, just getting the 10 out for Matt Duty, kicking things off for his team. These bowlers know each other pretty well. A lot of them bowl here at Classic Lanes in Greenfield. And watch Duty on that replay. 6 does the job on the 10. Matt, always a guy practicing his game, always making sure that equipment is in tip-top shape. And Scott McDougall, it's a man who just turned 50, so he's the over 50 representative on this team for McWolschel. And that ball needed a little bit more help in order to get back to the head pin. That could have just been first frame on TV nerves for Scott McDougall. And actually, you're going to see McDougall back-to-back weeks, as Scott's going to be part of our American Place Casino Summer Sweeper Series Championship Finals next week, coming in from Country Lanes in Greenfield. Scott in the top 5 in the overall Sweeper season points list, and he's got a chance to take down that $1,000 first place prize we're going to have up for grabs next week. Thanks to Kevin Meyer, Leanne Meyer, and everyone at Country Lanes in Franklin. And thanks to our great sponsors again with American Place Casino. We gave out thousands and thousands of dollars of free play during that Summer Sweeper Series to American Place Casino. Tracy Jacobs looking to get an early double for her team, getting to jump out to the lead. Is that going to have enough on the back end? Just enough to get the 5 and fall into the 7. And TJ's Hookers with an early double here in the championship match. Sometimes that little bit of experience you have under the TV lights lets you relax a little bit more each shot you throw, and it seems to be that way now for Jacobs. As Noel Wolter taking on the second frame for McWolschel. That's pretty much on target line and gets the 4 to go. Noel's been working on her game a lot. And when she's not playing a top dollar slot machine at American Place Casino, she's been really working hard with Matt Gasson out at Top Notch Pro Shop in Waukesha, not just on her equipment, but on her physical game as well. Justin Zuzan's been throwing a lot of strikes all morning long and says he loves a good game of Mississippi stud poker when he's visiting a casino. He'd love to be in a front row concert for Bruno Mars, and that 8-pin did not fall on the grenade for JD, as that's the second 8-pin we've seen on lane 3 today. We saw it out of David Brown in our semifinal match, and yeah, sometimes bowling is a game of good breaks, and sometimes bowling is a game of bad breaks. And Duzan with a bad break right there. Let's see if he keeps himself composed. You don't want to throw away easy pins for your team, and he's dead on that 8-pin in the third frame. So right now, 9-pin lead for TJ's Hookers, but Robert Peschel can strike here for McWolschel. He'll get his team into the lead by a pin. So he loves to hit the roulette wheel when he's in a casino, and he's not afraid to throw some big money down and try to hit those numbers at 35 to 1. And unfortunately for Robert, that one hits at 0 as he leaves the 210. Loves working on cars when he's not in the lanes on the weekend. And he's going to have to work on making a big split conversion here to not have his team fall behind early. You see he takes that little bit of a practice swing just to get the feel, get everything loose. And that's going to have to hook a little bit more. Gets too much of the 2-pin. And that early open frame for McWolschel is going to have them in catch-up mode. Matt Duty, his best bowling memory is having the front 8 at the USBC Nationals. While Will Welch, who we saw in our opening match, had the front 10. I wonder if either player finished it off for 300. Matt neglected to put that on his bio sheet, but a great toss there by Matt. Gets TJ's Hookers with a 21-pin lead here in the 4th frame. Watch that ball just roll up, ease up into the pocket. Matt used to be a player, sometimes we'd see a big hockey stick look if the conditions were right. That big bending back end is tamed down a bit. And that one didn't look solid out of the hand for McDougal. But somehow the bottom of the 6-pin hits the bottom of the 10. And takes down the 10-pin for a strike. Scott loves a good storm chase when the weather gets a little thunder and lightning around southeastern Wisconsin. I like just looking at it from my living room window. I don't need to be chasing it around. Let's see what Tracy Jacobs can do here. Beverage frame for TJ's Hookers. And 10 back. And there's a little room for error in this house pattern. That one for TJ was a couple of boards left of where she was on her first attempt this game, but the speed was consistent. And that's the key sometimes on these house patterns. You get a little room for error, but if you make a speed mistake, you can still pay a pretty good penalty. Let's see if Wolter can strike again, get a double on the board here, getting into the commercial break and keep her team close. Scramble him up, knock him down, and you can see the surprise look there for Noel, but strikes the strike, keeps her team close. We're going to bowl through the commercial break, and we'll be back here to Classic Lanes Greenfield on the Brew City Bowling Show. Here's the Fall League openings at Classic Lanes in Greenfield. Great senior leagues on Wednesdays at 9:15 a.m. and Thursdays at 1 p.m. A fun 5-person mixed on Thursdays at 6:30. Get your weekend started with a 4-person mixed on Fridays at 6:45. Get your weekends rolling in a 4-person mixed league every other week on Saturdays or Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Call 414-282-6400 to sign up or go to ClassicLanesGreenfield.com for all your specials and league info. Get your 5-player teams together for the inaugural Root River Classic featuring a $20,000 guaranteed first place team prize. Just a $250 entry fee for your team with optional singles and scratch team events. The Root River Classic is going to run from November 14th until December 28th on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Register using the QR code you can see on your screen or go to rootriverwi.com for tournament details. Here in our first of 2 games in the championship match for the Classic Greenfield over 50, under 50 mixed Baker trios. Had our bowlers bowl their 6th frame, and during the commercial break, Justin Duzan takes all 10 back for a turkey for his team. And let's match turkeys as Robert Peschel knocks them all down as well. So this game separated by 21 pins, the big difference. Spare in the 3rd frame by Justin Duzan. That should have been a strike because that was a solid 8-pin. Robert Peschel up to 210, failed to convert. That's your difference so far this game. Matt Duty, 7th frame, stepping up. Matt Duty, yeah, he likes hitting Facebook on a daily basis. Also likes hitting up eBay trying to find motorcycle parts for his Harley Davidson, and he may need to hit up something else there as that ball leaves the ripper 7-10. You see the big side from Matt on the way back. He didn't think it was going to be that bad, but watch that ball finish a little late. 6-pin rails in the flat gutter. 5-pin goes behind the 7, and the head pin for the messenger misses the 10. So the best thing here, get one, move on, and keep your team close in the match. It's basically a tie game coming up if we get a strike out of Scott McDougall in the 7th frame for McWolschel. We saw the same thing in our semifinal match. You saw the highlights in game 1. Lots of strikes. 1 open on each team, and both teams went in the 10th frame with a chance for 230. The only team that got there was TJ's Hookers, and they rode that momentum at the end of game 1 into this championship match. And how about that for McDougall? Much better off the hand. And the man who recently turned 50 puts a 4-bagger on the board for McWolschel, and it's basically tie game at this point. Tracy's best bowling memory was winning the mixed trios competition at the Milwaukee USBC City event a few years back. And she doesn't hang out on the internet much. I wonder what app you use every day. She says none. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Just like that strike for TJ. Watch that replay. Watch that ball. A little farther to the right than last time, but taking advantage of this Classic Lanes Greenfield house pattern. You know you're going to get that little more break if your speed's good and your rotation is right, and she took full advantage of that there in the 8th frame. Working on a 5-bagger for Noah Walter, and yikes! The one that got away, and boy, just when their team had gotten back into this game. We mentioned earlier she's been working a lot with her physical game with Matt Gasson, and she's been making some changes in her span, drilling of her equipment. So every once in a while, we saw it during the American Place Casino Summer Sweeper Series out at Country Lanes on our live streams this summer, as well as Noel took down one of the weeks of that series. Every once in a while, there's still a shot. You're still trying to get that feel down, and you're going to get away from you. And unfortunately for Noel, she picks up the spare, but boy, that gutter ball on a 4-bagger, that's just going to set the team back a little bit. Let's see if McWolschel can bounce back. She didn't let it bother her for too long. Knew she had to get that spare, keep things close. And, well, very successful with that. Justin Duzan loves his social media. I think he's got 7 accounts on Facebook. No, I know you don't, Justin. But, yeah, he's not afraid to post some opinions out there. His opinion on that shot. That was a pretty good ball, maybe, he's saying. As he gets a double on the board going into the 10th frame for his team, and TJ's Hookers can take a commanding lead getting into game 2 of this 2-game total pin match. They can get 245. However, with McWolschel still able to get to 228, it's going to be a definite nail-biter in the second game. Peschel Foundation frame. Huge sigh of relief as he knows he missed that one a little left, but he kept the speed consistent, and his revolutions helped that ball get back to the pocket. And as we said here, Matt Duty trying to help get TJ's Hookers to a 245 game here in our opening game of this two-game total pin championship match. Looks really good out of the hand. And the first strike in the 10th for Duty. As we said before, these players know each other pretty well. They've bowled a lot of events around southeastern Wisconsin. Sometimes as teammates, sometimes as competitors like today. Let's see if Duty can get a second one in the 10th. He'd love to have x-ray vision. Yeah, but Matt, if you have x-ray vision with the glasses you have on, you could probably do some damage. Speaking of doing damage, 3-pin? Where did you go? You're supposed to hit the 6. And everybody having a good chuckle out of that unusual hit. Watch that ball come back and it hits square on the 3-pin. And it's actually the ball that moved the 6 over. And that's a great reaction there by Matt Duty. He can afford to have that reaction now as the spare here gets his team to 234, and they will definitely be in the lead. It's just a matter of by how many pins, as the maximum score here for Wolschel, 228, if Scott McDougall can get all 3 strikes in the 10th. McDougall says he wishes he could fly on occasion because sometimes you can just fly away. Every once in a while you got to be able to get away, compose yourself a bit, and he's going to need to compose himself after that shot as he was a little bit off balance, and that changed how that ball rolled out of his hand. It's more end over end than the usual bit of side turn we see for McDougall. And yeah, watch on the replay. It's just end over end. It's flat. And with that 8-pin hiding behind the 1, 2, and 4, this is not exactly the easiest of spares for McDougall. A little bit straighter at those pins and not exactly the textbook way to pick it up as you see Scott shaking his head on the way back. But he knows that his team is looking at a minimum of a 26-pin deficit as these teams will be switching lanes for the second game of this match. And once again, it is a total pinfall match. So McWolschel not out of it yet, but a lot of work to do on lane 3 for that team as we're going to come back to Classic Lanes in Greenfield, another unusual hit, with TJ's Hookers up by 27 pins over McWolschel in this Classic Lanes Greenfield over 50, under 50 mixed Baker trios. Here's the Fall League openings at Classic Lanes in Greenfield. Great senior leagues on Wednesdays at 9:15 a.m. and Thursdays at 1 p.m. A fun 5-person mixed on Thursdays at 6:30. Get your weekend started with a 4-person mixed on Fridays at 6:45. Get your weekends rolling in a 4-person mixed league every other week on Saturdays or Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Call 414-282-6400 to sign up or go to ClassicLanesGreenfield.com for all your specials and league info. Get your 5-player teams together for the inaugural Root River Classic featuring a $20,000 guaranteed first place team prize. Just a $250 entry fee for your team with optional singles and scratch team events. The Root River Classic is going to run from November 14th until December 28th on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Register using the QR code you can see on your screen or go to rootriverwi.com for tournament details. There's still time for you to join a league and strike it rich at Foxview Lanes and Sussex Bowl. You could win a share of the $15,000 progressive jackpot every time you bowl, regardless of your average. Foxview Lanes is looking for teams or individual bowlers of any average to join their Monday mixers or Tuesday 4-man leagues. And Sussex Bowl is looking for teams or individuals for their Wednesday mixed 5 per team. Don't miss out on your chance to strike it rich at Sussex Bowl and Foxview Lanes. Scott McDougall trying to kickstart McWolschel here in Game 2 of this 2-game total pin final match as McWolschel finding themselves in a 27-pin deficit to TJ's Hookers after game one of this 2-game total pin match. Teams have switched lanes, and McDougal comes high on lane 3, leaves the 3-6-10. It's never easy going back and forth on lanes on a pair, even during league competition where it's just alternating frames. Here you've waited a whole game to get back on lane 3. You have to make the adjustments to how the other team may have moved around this Classic Lanes Greenfield house oil pattern. McDougal gets the spare, but something tells me Walsall's going to need a bunch of strikes here in this second game to overcome that deficit and try to take home the title and the $750 that our first place prize will be awarded today. Matt Duty for TJ's Hookers looking to get his team off to a start, and there you go, absolutely perfect. That's one of those strikes they would put on the cover of a bowling textbook if they still published bowling textbooks. As Matt Duty gets that ball to roll up nicely and take all 10 back. Noelle Wolter still haven't been bowling for a few years and has really started taking it seriously since about 2020. She has her average up to 192. Comes a little high in that shot, leaves the 310. And once again, she really wanted to send a shout out to Matt Gasson at Top Notch Bowling out in Waukesha. Top Notch, one of our Brew City Bowling Show sponsors, along with Bowlers Headquarters here inside of Classic Lanes Greenfield, and Rich Mueller Pro Shops inside of Village Bowl in Menominee Falls and River Center in Franklin. How about the hard way? Not the way you draw it up. Gets a little bit of a break there, having a 3-pin come off the sideboard and take out the 10, but Wolter's not going to complain at this point. McWalshall can't afford to fall any farther behind than they're already at, as the frames keep ticking down. Tracy Jacobs, 205 average. Does her league bowling here at Classic Lanes Greenfield. Let's see what she can do here. Get that ball right in the pocket. Little light, and that's going to be an interesting spare to convert with the 2-4-5, because a lot of times on house patterns, unless you shoot the ball dead straight at the 2-pin, it could be a bit tricky to make sure you get all three. A lot of times you'll see players hooking the ball at that 2-4-5. Right-handed players will hook and hit that 2-pin square, chop the 2-4 off the 5. Let's see if Tracy can avoid that here. She gets it done, takes the chop out of play, hits the left side of the 2-pin. 2-pin hits the 5, ball takes the 4. And still big advantage for TJ's Hookers with 8 frames remaining. Robert Peschel, he's been battling some injuries with his right shoulder over the last couple of years. His rev rate down a bit from what it used to be. But isn't it always that way? As we get older, we lose a little ball speed, lose a little rev rate. You can tell right there for Peschel as he gets the deck cleared in one shot. Watch that on the way back. Ball hooks out to about 7th board, sits up nicely, and gets the job done. Can Justin Duzan get his team back to striking? So his best bowling memory is being on the same pair of lanes with the eventual USBC Team All Events winners in Baton Rouge. That, of course, being Bowlers Headquarters. Chad Kloss, Will Welch, Joe Vrobel, our local players on that team. James Tucker back in Ohio. Let's see what McDougal can do here. 4th frame, looking for a double for his team. And a huge trip of the 4-9 there for McDougal. Loves to play poker when he's in a casino, and right there, tripping out a pair of aces. Watch that 4-9 try to stand. 4 goes, 9 goes, and the double on the board, and that's huge right now. That knocks the advantage for TJ's Hookers down to 17 pins. Can Matt Duty get it back to 27? Looks good out of the hand. Oh, that's as pure as a shot as he threw in the first frame. See the big exhale on the way back. Even though there's not a lot of money on the line, it's bragging rights for these players. And $250 a player. That might cover a couple of bar tabs here at Classic Lanes Greenfield today. Let's see what Noelle Walter can do here in her team's beverage frame. And that one comes up high again, so she's gone high and high. We'll have to see what type of adjustment she tries to make. She only has one more frame left in this game, the 8th frame. She'll have a little time to think about it, watching her teammates bowl. And we'll be getting into the commercial break shortly as well. See if she manages to get both pins with the ball. We saw a little touchy on that 310 last time up in the 2nd frame. Much better spare attempt that time, and wow. We talked about hooking it at spares and chop possibilities that can happen. And now Noelle with the open frame. Leaves Tracy Jacobs with the chance to almost put this one out of reach and make it mandatory strike mode for McWolshel when we come back from the commercial break. TJ loves to snuggle with her doggy. It's not a nice thing to call your boyfriend Lester there, TJ. Lester, hope all's going well. Let's see what Tracy Jacobs can do here getting into the commercial break. Looks pretty good. 10 back, and it could be an insurmountable lead unless TJ's Hookers make some mistakes. We'll be back to Classic Lanes Greenfield with the rest of this final match.
Join the Bourbon Club for free at Country Lanes. Enjoy discounts on every pour and have your chance to win some great monthly prizes. Enjoy a pour before or after a great pizza at Country Lanes in Franklin.
There's still time for you to join a league and strike it rich at Foxview Lanes and Sussex Bowl. You could win a share of the $15,000 progressive jackpot every time you bowl, regardless of your average. Foxview Lanes is looking for teams or individual bowlers of any average to join their Monday mixers or Tuesday four-man leagues. And Sussex Bowl is looking for teams or individuals for their Wednesday mixed 5 per team. Don't miss out on your chance to strike it rich at Sussex Bowl and Foxview Lanes. Robert Peschel steps up in the 6th frame as we bowled through the commercial break, knowing his team needs to start striking in a hurry in order to catch up in this match. Unfortunately for Robert, he crawls high, leaves the 3-pin, successfully picks up the spare from Justin Duzon for TJ's Hookers, looking to pile on the 3-bagger. It's already on the board. Got that one a hair slow. Tried to fit it a bit, leaves the 4-7. But as every good high school bowling coach does, pick up that spare. Be a good example for your team there, Justin. Takes a look down on the way back, and pretty big lead now for TJ's Hookers as they're sitting with an over 40-pin advantage. As Scott McDougall steps up, 7th frame, maximum score here for McWolshel is 234, and then they're going to need some help from TJ's Hookers. Great shot there by McDougall. But he's going to need some help from the teammates the next couple of frames, and there is going to have to be a mistake or two made by the members of TJ's Hookers for McWolshel to have any chance of taking home the top prize today. Matt Duty, 2 for 2 so far this game. Gets that ball well out on the lane, and 3 for 3. The man is going to be stepping up in the 10th frame. At that point in time, it might just be a victory lap for TJ's Hookers, as they look to be pretty solid right now in the pocket. Let's see what Noelle Walter can do here for her last shot of the day. She would love to be in the front row for an Eminem concert, given the chance. And that one's going to need to hold again. She creeps not as high as the last 2 shots. Leaves just the 4-pin, but now that's going to take the max score down to 214 for McWolshel. And they're in a world of hurt at the moment. So $500 for second place for these teammates to split today. If they do end up staying in that number 2 spot, they're basically looking at right now having to strike out in the 9th and 10th, along with TJ's Hookers opening all 3 of the final frames. So we'll see if Tracy Jacobs can really put the coup de grace on for her team and get a strike here in the 8th frame. She loves getting out to golf when she gets a chance. The weather's been gorgeous for golf lately. And that one's going to need to avoid the bunker. Yeah, that's going to be some trouble there for Jacobs. 6, 7, and 10. If she gets 2 here, that leaves her team at 166. Even if they get to the 180s, going open, the last 2 frames, that's going to require a strike in the 9th by Robbie Peschel and striking out by Scott McDougal for what would basically be a miracle win for McWolschel.
Yeah. Tell her where she can put her spare goal.
Even just 1 spare and a solid count would be enough. TJ's Hookers to take home the top prize today. Let's see what Robert Peschel can do here in the 9th frame. Would love to be in the front row for a Breaking Benjamin concert or a 5-figure death punch. Unfortunately, that's going to be a 2-finger and a thumb death punch for Peschel right there. As that one going through the nose is going to end any hope of a victory for McWolschel, but still a great day, and they can look back at the 279 game they shot during match play, almost perfect. That vaulted them into the #1 spot for the TV show. And that's trouble. And an open frame, and yeah, we're all but over here. Victory lap coming up for TJ's Hookers. And let's see if Justin Duzon tries doing something a little different. Loves watching football on the weekends. College football, professional football. Loves it when fall comes around. And, oh, that's going to fall off the lane. Oh, my. Well, there's something we don't see every day. The 1, 5, 8, and 9. And, yeah, that's one of those situations like Matt Duty's 6-pin.
17 years
the 10th frame of game 1 of this match. You can kind of laugh at it now. It's not hurting your team. You know you've got victory in hand, but I think Justin can check the record books. He's probably shot at this never in his life. Let's see if he can go 1 for 1. Justin says he doesn't need any superpowers. Look at the calves he has. That's why he's wearing shorts today. And I guess one of his superpowers is also picking up the 1, 5, 8, 9. As he gets it done. I don't think in the 17 years of televised bowling we've done here with 10 on the Deck Productions in southeastern Wisconsin, I've ever seen that left and I've ever seen that made. That's impressive, Justin. Scott McDougal, as we mentioned, you're going to see McDougal again next week as he's one of our 5 finalists in the American Place Casino Summer Sweeper Series Finals. As we're going to have the bowlers fast track through the end of this match. 15 weeks of that APC Sweeper Series gets us to our top 5 points earners and $1,000 on top on that step ladder next week. Almost $2,500 in prize money altogether from the Summer Sweeper Series. And, of course, we're going to get those red, white, and blue striped American Place Casino pins back in the racks next week as those players in that Summer Sweeper Series finale will have a chance to take home some American Place Casino free play on those always exciting jackpot shots and just as exciting spares for dough. So I'm sure we'll see a lot more of McDougal bowling senior events in this area as he's recently turned 50 years old. And Matt Duty probably going to take that share of his $750 prize money for the team today and probably buying some more parts for that Harley Davidson he owns. And he'll take his girlfriend Ann for a ride as long as the weather hangs nice. There's a great strike to finish. We're going to wrap things up here with the Classic Lanes Greenfield over 50, under 50 mixed baker trios. Stay tuned. Classic Lanes Greenfield here on the Brew City Bowling Show. Here's the fall league openings at Classic Lanes in Greenfield. Great senior leagues on Wednesdays at 9:15 a.m. and Thursdays at 1 p.m. A fun 5-person mixed on Thursdays at 6:30. Get your weekend started with a 4-person mixed on Fridays at 6:45. Get your weekends rolling in a 4-person mixed league every other week on Saturdays or Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Call 414-282-6400 to sign up or go to classiclanesgreenfield.com for all your specials and league info.
Hey, Steve. Your favorite slots are open.
They remember my name and my game?
Your usual, Steve?
They're like mind readers.
Blackjack.
Is this heaven?
No, it's American Place Casino.
Wait, are you in my head?
Come on, Steve. That'd be weird.
We're not mind readers, but we create an experience that's just for you. American Place Casino.
This place rules!
I know, right?
What a day on the lanes here at Classic Lanes Greenfield for TJ's Hookers. Only 3 open frames in 4 games of competition, and this big 3-bagger early on in Game 2 of the final match from Justin Duzon, Matt Duty, and Tracy Jacobs put them out into an insurmountable lead. McWolschel tried to get close. They hung in there. Robbie Peschel with the strike in the 3rd frame. Scott McDougal piled on, made a double in the 4th, but then they ran into trouble late when they had a chance with some openings from TJ's Hookers. Noel Wolter left the 4-pin coming high in the 8th frame, and then Robbie Peschel went high in the 9th frame with a 3-6-10. And that gives the title of TJ's Hookers after their 439-387 victory here at the Classic Greenfield over under 50 mixed Baker trios. We'll be back next week with our final introduction to fall here on the Brew City Bowling Show. We're going to be out at Country Lanes in Franklin, wrapping up our American Place Casino Summer Sweeper Series Finals. You've seen the live streams all summer long on Facebook. Who's going to take home that $1,000 first place prize? You're going to have to join us here next week on the Brew City Bowling Show to find out. We'll see you next week from Country Lanes in Franklin.